Hey guys, before we begin the video, I just wanted to let you know about a convenient website called ITALKI. It's affordable, effective, and easy to use. You can learn any language you'd like without leaving your home. If you're interested, click the link below and you can try one lesson and get the second free. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show! Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and I'm really happy to say that I'm here with Rachel, and we're going to talk about culture shock in Japan. It's not going to be a lot of common culture shock.
You've taken off your shoes at dawn?
Yeah, like the shoes, taking off your shoes is kind of like a no-brainer. I think a lot of people that have studied Japanese or are interested in Japan are viewing our channel, so I feel like we should talk about the less commonly known culture shocks. We're gonna just go ahead and start with number one. These are things that I've noticed recently, and the number one thing that I've noticed recently is people on trains with books, and there's covers on their books. So when they're reading books, it's just for privacy, like privacy reasons. So I think that's actually a good idea, because then people aren't like looking at what you're reading and you don't feel so self-conscious. But I didn't really notice that until just recently. So they have like newspaper on their books, or like just book covers sometimes come with the books. So, yeah, in Japan. So it's actually kind of convenient, and I actually like it. So
I noticed that really early on because June reads a lot and he buys lots of books.
Oh, really?
Every time he buys a book, it comes with one of the just like plain white cover on it. So I never know what book he's got. He'll even use it at home. He just doesn't ever take it off. I'm like, what are you reading?
What are you reading, June?
So since I've been here this past year and we've been driving around to a lot of places, I've noticed that in fancier stores, so if you go somewhere where you buy a suit or like nice like work clothes like that, or some places like the Toyota home places that we've been to recently, where people are potentially buying a house, like really nice places like that. A lot of the workers, when you leave in a car, they'll come outside and stand there and bow to your car until you've left the parking lot. And sometimes there's a lot of traffic, so you have to sit there for a couple minutes and they're just like bowing.
Actually, a lot of people in Japan stand there and wave at you when you leave, and just wait for you to be out of sight. That's actually something that I've learned in Japanese class before, and it's just a normal thing here. And they do that even at the Sony store when I go and check out the stuff for my camera. Like they just walk you out, and then they wait till you leave, and then they bow to you, and it's just like it feels so formal. And I honestly I don't know, it feels weird to me. Greeting you at the mall. This kind of goes with what we were talking about in the first one, but when stores open, you basically walk in, and then everybody at the store goes to the front, and then they bow to you as you walk through the mall. And then they have this music playing, this like happy music playing, because it's open. It's open. And sometimes like I'm like the only person walking into the mall, so like it's kind of awkward because they're all bowing to you. It feels like you're royal or something, or really important, high up there. But yeah, they all come to the front of the store and they bow to you when you come in. So that's only when they open.
They play 8-bit music over the speakers because I guess they don't want to pay the royalty for like actually playing real music with real instruments and singers. So they'll play like 8-bit music versions, like what you would hear on a really old cell phone ringtone, or like
kind of reminds
a video
me,
game.
Yeah, like of a video game, like Animal Crossing. It's like and then they'll play like 90s music or like 80s music or Michael Jackson or something. And it'll be like
and it's distracting because you'll recognize the music, but you can't figure out what it is sometimes.
They play some music outside too on the streets, like in Sakai, like in the morning they play music like on the streets. Like it feels like you're in a video game like 24/7. Not even joking. And then some stores have it on a loop. Like one store played It's a Small World over and over, and like I feel like you'd go crazy.
Oh my god! I know if you were a worker there.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
The other thing that I noticed is saying everything that you're doing. So I've noticed this as like working in a Japanese office, like a business office. They would go to the door and say, even if they had to go to the bathroom, sometimes they'd say, I'm going to the bathroom, and then they'll bow their head, and then they'll walk out the door. Like it would just be really quiet. Like you wouldn't really notice. People wouldn't even like glance up. But it's kind of like the polite thing to do in Japan sometimes. Not everywhere, but certain places they'll tell you where they're going, or they're going and then coming back, and then they'll bow and leave. And they do that on the bus too. So they're like, I'm going straight, I'm going back, I'm going left, I'm going right, and they'll tell you like on the bus what they're doing. I'm stopping, next station, I'm going to the next. Like it's like not all bus drivers do that. Like some bus drivers do that, but most of them actually do. It's all about being polite in Japan is the reason for why they do things.
Okay, so I guess along the same lines of like noise and music and stuff are they have music trucks here. So we have ice cream trucks in America that will go around and they'll play like the little jingly music. And they have trucks like that here for a lot of different things. So some of them will be selling food, some of them will be picking up trash for you, like special trash. Yeah. And some of them are political vans or Kelly mentioned early, advertisements for groups, like music groups up in Tokyo and stuff. There are a couple that come around the places that we've lived a lot, and so I hear them all the time, and one of them is selling warabi mochi. It's stuck in my head because it would come around every single day and I'd hear it, and it's warabi mochi.
It's like on a loop.
And then there's one here that June said is for tofu.
Tofu truck.
The tofu truck, and I didn't know
truck.
It was a truck at first. I thought it was a kid practicing the recorder. I was like, oh my god, we moved in next door to a kid who practices his recorder all day. And it was just 2 notes repeatedly over and over and over again. It's recorder music.
Yeah, same over and over again.
And I was like, this kid needs to learn some new notes, try something new. It wasn't a kid, it's a truck, selling tofu.
First time I noticed that was in Aomori, and they did that with the sweet potato truck. They sell sweet potato, tofu, like they have these trucks that go around, like, and they sell this stuff, and it's actually kind of cool. When I did study abroad, they just did morning announcements. They'd be like, do, 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 and then they'd be like, good morning, today is September 27th, da, 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 da. And
just a truck driving around?
It wasn't a truck, it was actually like a speaker in the town. It depends on where you live though.
Good morning, town!
Yeah, so announcements, good morning, wake up, it's 7 a.m. Like, what if you wanted to sleep past 7 a.m.?
Yeah.
Huh?
What if you What if you worked the night shift and you got home and now you're trying to go to sleep?
Yeah. Kind of related to like jingles and sounds and all that stuff. At the train station, they always have their own jingle.
Yeah.
Or their own sound. So like when the train is coming, they have like a certain theme song. So it'll be like a little music box sort of sound. And even if it's on the same line, if you're going the other way, like it'll have like a different sound to it. So then you know the train is coming and which side is coming.
And some of them are like commercial jingles too, because I don't know anything about them because I don't watch Japanese TV, but I know in Ebisu in Tokyo, it's like the commercial for Ebisu beer.
The jingle for Ebisu beer.
Yeah. So when the train's coming, it's reminding you of the commercial to buy Ebisu beer.
Like I always like think about what's the coolest sound that they have, like rate from 5 to 4. I could do a video about that. Go to each station.
You could start a playlist on your channel rating each jingle.
I could. That would be good. Thumbs up if you want that video. like this video if you want that.
In America, we have banned smoking indoors in, I think it's a state by state thing.
Yeah.
But it is banned in Ohio, in my state. So no restaurants, you can't smoke
Same
inside
in
bars anymore.
Yeah.
So like no smoking indoors. And then when I came here to Japan, they still do that. So like a lot of restaurants have smoking sections and non-smoking sections. So I was kind of surprised by that.
Yeah.
Like
me too.
it shouldn't even be a surprise because growing up as a kid in America, we have that everywhere. But I think that's kind of like an American thing because I think a lot of countries still have smoking pretty much.
Or a lot of states,
everywhere. Yeah, I don't even know what other states in America. So that might not even be in everything America.
Yeah, it might not be a culture shock to somebody that comes to Japan from a state that has smoking in restaurants and stuff. But they do have like the glass sections where you can go into the room and smoke in the glass room. And they have them at parks too, like parks and other public places. So it's kind of interesting. So like when you go and buy something, they'll usually, and you give them like $100 bill or something, they'll say to their manager, I have a $100 bill, I'm putting it into the register. And they'll say that. That kind of goes along with saying things that they're doing. So they do it and then they take out the money. They always count money to you. Like they put it out really nice, like a fan, like a Japanese fan, and they're like counting the money. They go through all of it and then you know that you've got the right amount.
Counting everything to you, it kind of feels like a bit like an artificial conversation. Like they don't, because cashiers don't really talk to you here. Like I've had some in the past who have. It's really uncommon. Yeah. So I feel like that's just
like
kind
of a conversation starter.
It's more like
here's
something.
Your money.
It's more like something to say rather than the whole thing just being completely quiet. So moving on to like doctors and dentists. So first of all, I know we were like, we're not gonna talk about taking off shoes, but you take off your shoes at the doctors and the dentist usually. I've been like, I think one where I didn't have to, but usually you take off your shoes. It's a little different than America because in America, if you go see a doctor, you get your own room and you're like in a private room. But here, at least the doctors that I've gone to, it's like connected to all of the other rooms. It's open in the back. So you'll have like your own little desk or cot area, but then people are walking along behind you and you can hear everyone else and it's not quite as private.
Like in the hospitals and stuff, like when I went to the hospital, sometimes like crippled, they just have curtains. Like they don't have rooms. You're all out in the open with everybody else.
It probably depends on the hospital room, like too, like what you're in for. Because when you have a baby, then you get the room to yourself. That's the only time I've actually been to a real hospital here, when I visited Victor's baby. And then at dentists, something that in America you get sunglasses. They give you sunglasses so you don't have to look at the light or whatever, but here they put a cloth over your face. They just like lay a cloth on your face. It feels like a spa.
Yeah, they do that at the hairdresser too. Like when you go get your haircut, they put like the cloth over your face so you're not looking around and stuff. Right, it's just relaxing. Kids in a shopping cart.
Oh my god.
I used to work at an international school and we had to take the kids to the park. And what you do when you take little kids to the park, if they're like 3 or under, you put them in a cart. It's kind of like herding sheep into like what do you call it? A fence, like a behind a fence. There's like a little ramp that unclasps and then you put it on the floor and then they run up the ramp into the cart. And then you lock them in and then you push them down the street to the park and their little heads are like peeking out and they're like, yeah, hi. So they wear the little yellow hats and whenever you cross the street, they're taught to raise their hand. So when you cross the street, they're in the shopping carts and they're like this, like stop. And then when you get to the park, like you unclasp the thing and they all run out down the ramp and go play. Alright, so those are just some little cultural like things that we've noticed in Japan recently and small things that you probably wouldn't even think of. Right. There's probably more and I'll probably write down more and make like a part 2 to this. If you guys have any comments or things that you've experienced in Japan or even in other countries, like small things that are different from America, from our country, just let us know, or from Japan, so just let us know in the comments below. And please subscribe and like this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.